we've got stacks of info here on the 2025 Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Forget the specs for a second.
Right.
This deep dive, this is about understanding what this car represents.
Absolutely.
It's more than just transportation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about, a statement,
Yes.
an experience. And we're going to unpack all of that, starting with this detailed overview you shared.
What I find fascinating is how Rolls-Royce manages to walk that line, that fine line between their legendary status
Right.
and pushing those boundaries, of what we think luxury can be.
Yes.
They're selling you an ideal as much as they are a car,
Yeah. And that comes through even in the design, right?
of course.
The source mentions the 2025 Phantom being, quote, instantly recognizable, end quote. And yeah, that grille alone could stop traffic, right?
Absolutely.
But then they're adding these exclusive new color customization options, and it makes me wonder, who are these people with the inside track on picking those,
Right. It speaks to, that idea of heritage and evolution.
Okay.
And we see this in a lot of other luxury goods, right?
Right.
High-end watches, bespoke suits. It begs the question, are they modernizing or are they reinforcing what's always made them timeless?
No, that is a really good question.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to outdo themselves, but quietly,
Right.
which maybe makes sense because under the hood,
Okay.
we're talking about a V12 engine.
Powerful.
Yeah, I'll admit my car knowledge isn't,
Encyclopedic or anything.
Sure,
Sure.
but that sounds pretty powerful.
It is, but the thing is,
Okay.
the source keeps coming back to this idea of a smooth and silent ride.
Right,
That's not an accident.
right.
It tells us that Rolls-Royce, they understand their clientele.
Okay.
These aren't your, drivers seeking attention with a roaring engine, right? They value discretion,
Right.
a sense of calm detachment
Interesting.
from, all the noise of the outside world.
Now that you mention it, I've never heard a roller roaring down the street or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all very dignified.
Very much so.
Gliding along.
Gliding, exactly.
And speaking of gliding, they're refining the suspension even further for this model.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're using, get this, it's called planar suspension. Cameras that actually scan the road ahead
Wow.
and adjust the suspension in real time.
Interesting.
It's supposed to make potholes feel non-existent.
So minimizing disruptions to
Yeah.
create a sanctuary.
That-
That's precisely the point.
A sanctuary on wheels? I like that.
Like a private jet on wheels.
It's sanctuary on wheels.
Yeah.
I like it.
And speaking of sanctuary, let's talk about the interior.
All right.
The source describes it as
Yeah.
opulent,
Okay.
with incredible attention to detail.
Yeah.
They even specify the type of leather used. It's called moccasin grain leather.
Okay.
And mention open pore wood veneers
Wow.
and hand-finished metal accents.
It's about engaging all the senses.
Wow.
They want you to feel enveloped.
Pampered,
Yeah.
And notice how the source highlights the customization of the seats, heating, ventilation, even massage functions.
Really?
It's not just about sitting.
Right.
It's about being cocooned in luxury.
Wow, they've thought of everything.
It seems like it.
But all this talk of luxury, it does make me wonder,
What's that?
what about technology?
Okay.
Are we talking screens everywhere?
Right.
Flashing lights, Because
Yeah.
that wouldn't exactly scream handcrafted elegance, would it?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The source really seems to emphasize that technology is there,
Okay.
but it's integrated seamlessly.
Okay.
It's about enhancing the experience,
Right.
not being obtrusive.
Gotcha.
Connectivity is key,
Right.
but it's woven into this luxurious ambiance,
Interesting.
It really makes you wonder,
Well-
can technology ever be truly warm and
Yeah.
inviting?
Yeah.
Or is that just inherently contradictory?
You know what? That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a tech geek myself, I have to admit.
Sure.
But even I have to say, there's something to be said for unplugging
Right.
and just enjoying,
Yeah,
the craftsmanship.
absolutely.
Right
Yeah.
there.
And that leads us to what might be the most intriguing aspect of this car,
All right.
the bespoke element.
Right.
The source mentions
Yeah.
clients working directly with Rolls-Royce designers to create something truly unique.
Wow. Okay, the bespoke element.
Yeah.
That has me really intrigued. Imagine that, working directly with Rolls-Royce designers
I know, right?
to create your dream car.
Yeah.
What would that even be like?
It goes way beyond
Okay.
just picking,
Right.
colors and materials.
Right.
The source even talks about this idea of translating an individual's vision into a tangible reality.
Wow.
It's about legacy.
Okay.
It's about Rolls-Royce building cars as unique as their owners.
Wow.
And they've always done this. It's practically woven into their DNA.
So it's like commissioning a work of art.
Exactly.
But instead of hanging it on a wall, you have to drive it.
There you go. Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Which brings up a good question, though.
Okay.
If everyone's Phantom is utterly personalized, is it still a Rolls-Royce experience? Or does it become something else entirely?
That is a good question, because on the one hand, you have like the shared heritage, the iconic design language, like you talked about, right? This commitment to a certain kind of luxury.
Absolutely.
But then on the other hand, no two are alike. It's a fascinating paradox.
It is. It's the combination of those things that makes it so compelling.
Okay.
Like having a tailor-made suit. But the tailor is, a legendary brand with a history of, exceeding expectations.
And let's be real. All this craftsmanship and exclusivity. It doesn't come cheap.
It does not.
The source mentions the 2025 Phantom. It's likely starting around $460,000.
At least.
And that's before you even think about bespoke options.
Exactly. But here's a shift in perspective for you.
Okay.
At that price point, you're not just buying a car. You're buying into a legacy, right? You're buying hundreds of years of engineering, craftsmanship, and a story that few other brands can really match.
So it's an investment in an idea as much as it is in an object.
You got it.
Interesting.
And that exclusivity, that feeling of owning something truly unique, it's powerful. Makes you think, In a world of mass production, does true luxury require this level of exclusivity?
In a world of mass production,
Does true luxury require this level of exclusivity?
It really makes you think. On the one hand, you have that allure of the handcrafted. The one of a kind. But then again, isn't there something to be said for making incredible design and experiences, accessible to a wider audience?
It's like that age-old debate. Do you want to be a big fish in a small pond?
Laughter.
Or a small fish in a big pond?
Exactly.
Except in this case, the pond is filled with handcrafted leather and bespoke paint colors.
There's no easy answer.
I guess not.
It all boils down to how you define luxury.
And maybe that's the point of this whole deep dive.
Okay.
We've gone beyond the brochure, beyond the specs and figures.
And really explored the ideas that a brand like Rolls-Royce embodies.
We've unpacked it all. The heritage, craftsmanship, the essence of exclusivity.
It's been fascinating.
Whether you aspire to own a Phantom or simply, appreciate the artistry. Hopefully this has given you a new perspective.
It has for me.
On what luxury truly represents.
I've learned a lot.
Me too.
And for you listening, we'll leave you with this.
Okay.
If you could personalize your dream car, what would it say about you? What one-of-a-kind detail would make it unmistakably yours?
I like that.
Keep that in mind. And we'll catch you on our next deep dive.